Hello, hello, hello. Just checking that. Good, good, good. Are we ready to play some Daggerheart? Alright, last session we investigated a dead body that had appeared in one of the mining camps. We ran away like pansies, if that's how you choose to interpret it. Yep, you went to investigate the body. You checked around the eastern mining camp, whose storehouse the body had been found by. You found the body was not in great shape. It looked almost like it had been dissolved, like it had been hit with some acid, and not the fun kind. The body had been taken to the infirmary, the on-site infirmary at the mining camps, where the doctor told you that there was kind of this like weird sludge that seemed to be growing on it, and he had kind of curated some of it and sent it to the capital for further analysis. He then decided he then decided to go investigate some of the rumors from local foragers who had been saying that some of the flora they usually would harvest, mostly mushrooms, had kind of gotten gunky. So he went out to the western forest to go investigate that. And you found some of the gunky, not very nice mushrooms. And as you were taking a sample of that too, you encountered a bunch of little gray green slimes who kind of scooted out from underneath logs. And realizing there were quite a few of them and that they might not be fun to pet, you and your friend Cassie ran across the river where you saw the slimes kind of lost track of you. And that is where we left off last time. We literally wear no armor and we found a flesh-eating goop, so yeah, obviously we will run. You're making a lot of assumptions there. I have not once said that they are flesh-eating. You're just assuming. You know what they say about assuming. Assume, assume, assume. It's great. But our skin is really tough. Yes, you do have the bare bones feature, which gives you a ridiculous armor class, essentially. And stupid overpowered for level 1, but I guess that's what you expect with your tank classes. So, when we left off last time, you were standing on the edge of a small creek running down the side of the mountain, and on the other side there was, oh gosh, there was almost a dozen slimes, I think. Yeah, there were like 7 or 8 of them. About a foot to 2 feet ranging in size. They didn't seem too interested in following you across the river. You did see one that got a little too close and kind of got like sucked into the water and washed down river, but beyond that, they seem to have stopped chasing you for the moment. They are kind of circling around on the other side of the river, almost like they're a dog searching for a scent, but upstream towards Peakfall, yes, Peakfall is at the top of the mountain. Down the mountain, there are some farmlands and fun things like that, but you have no reason to have been there. So, you and Cassie are standing. For those who are new, Cassie is your Furbolg friend. You were town guards together in the hometown that you have since left. She is currently a town guard at Peakfall. And she came with you to help investigate some of this stuff. We're going... Time to go back, report what we found, and dig a moat. That would... I mean, that'd be a pretty fun adventure, I think. Just you rolling strength checks all day to see if you can dig a moat. You also gotta get water there. You'd be looking for a heavy rain or some sort of water magic. I think we move upstream towards town, see if they follow on the other side of the creek. Is that what you guys want to do? You can definitely go a little ways away and see if they follow you there, but you'll notice even as you kind of start to walk away from the river, they don't really care. They're busy on the other side doing whatever. Yes. I need to get some like affirmative emotes. Got a cat being naughty. Yeah. Okay. As you kind of walk a little ways up the stream, yeah, they continue doing their little sniffing. After a while, a few of them seem to kind of trail off back into the underbrush. Actually, let's For reasons, I want you to roll. What am I thinking? Instinct or presence. So default, yay. True. But it's fun to have my own. I gotta get my brain working here. Just a sec. That's an instinct. We're gonna roll instinct. Ooh. Dice tray. That is a 9 and an 8 with hope. Would you like to burn a hope to add anything to that? You can maybe do so with your. You can. Oops. You can sell your Mountaineer experience to me. I'd allow it. You're gonna get a hope for that. What was it a check for? Good question. I'll tell you once I know what the result is. I mean, what's that? Instinct. So you get a +0. You're currently sitting at, let's see, 9, 8, 17. 17 with hope. For those who are new, this blue one is your hope die. This pink one is your fear die. It's part of one of the core aspects of Daggerheart, which are your duality dice. Kind of determines how favorable the outcome is to you. So you're sitting at a 17 for unknown check. In the mountains, we have Spider-Man senses here, obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, you're probably relatively familiar, so I'll take that hope back. Relatively familiar with some of the wildlife and stuff. You're gonna see. Yeah, so with a 19 total, 19 with hope, you're definitely gonna see a couple of the slimes, instead of going into the underbrush, they seem to just absorb down into the ground. Just won the forest bonus. You don't get forest bonus. This isn't D&D. You get Mountaineer bonus or you get Town Guard bonus. So yeah, that's what you notice. You notice that some of the slimes are kind of like, they don't really go into the underbrush like a critter would. It just kind of like sinks into the ground. But as you continue moving on, they all lose interest in you and they all go their various ways. So are you going back to Peakfall, or did you want to look around the forest a little more? Man, that is creepy. So for those who are new, anytime you put something in quotes, I'm going to consider that Dexuru speaking in character. So like in this case, where Maz said in quotes, "Man, that is creepy." That's something Dexuru is saying most likely to Cassie or out loud. It's like, man, that's kind of creepy. Cassie's. Do we think Cassie would have been it? Oh yeah, she rolled pretty well. Like you kind of point, and she looks, and she goes, "What the heck? Where'd they go?" Huh. Weird. Yeah, Cassie would have seen those too. Is there anything else you would like to check out in the forest? This is kind of the area the forager had told you to check out. Guess it's good to know they can just come up out of the ground. I'm sure that won't be relevant. Little danger blobs. I don't know why you guys are so sus on the blobs. I don't think you haven't actually seen them do anything. Just call them danger blobs. Yeah, because that's the vibe. Danger blobs, because they're definitely not dangerous. In general, watch the surroundings, source of the blobs, obvious tracks, etc. You're gonna watch for slime tracks. Yeah. I mean, as you go, you can definitely stop and check. We should probably go back and also check on the infirmary. Maybe. Is that what you want to do? It sounds like you're heading back towards Peakfall, so as you're traveling, you can definitely look. Are you looking for like other vegetation? A lot of the foragers had specifically mentioned like the mushrooms they usually went after have been really like gross, like rotted. You haven't heard much about anything else though. Yeah, otherwise go back, tell people what to watch out for. Okay. Yeah, it's getting to be. I think I'm trying to think time-wise in the day. So you would have started probably in the morning, because Cassie would have been starting her shift, and it would have been when the body at the mining camp was found. You've been to the mining camp and back and doing some research. I'm going to say it's at least early afternoon by this point. you're free to go back to Peakfall. Are you going to the guards, or are you going to... You did briefly meet the mayor. He had stopped in to talk to Stryker and basically be an outraged politician type. But Stryker is probably who Cassie would report to. The mining camp and the infirmary is closest now. They're probably about equidistance. So I figure Peakfall is at the top of the mountain. Or what is close to the top, the like plateau. Then the mining camp is a little, about an hour's hike, I think I said, down the slope, so it's a little closer to the base. Yeah, I pictured you as kind of being like up on the side of the mountain, so you could go up to Peakfall or down to the mining camp. I don't think it's gonna be too terrible a difference in time either way. Let's do the guard station first then. Okie dokie. Let's see, guard station. Some more guards can warn people. It's an interesting thought. Yep, so you wander back through town. Let's see. I'm gonna do a general. It's relatively quiet. It's definitely not as active as the mining camps were when all the rumors were spreading. You haven't seen any of that as you walk through town. You make it to the guard tower unaccosted. Stryker will... Stryker be in there? Let's roll and see. Yeah, I think you'll catch him, like, on the way out the door. So Stryker, again, he's this big metallic clank. He is the guard captain of Peakfall. I think basically, like, as you walk in and open the door, he is actively walking out. He'll see you guys and he'll be like, oh, you're back. Did you find anything? I believe you exposition cantripped him earlier. No, I am Dexuru. Comedy retract. Anyways, yeah. You did tell him about... I believe you stopped there before you went out to the forest, so you did tell him about what you had found with the body and all that sort of stuff. What is it that you say to him? Just give me the vibe of what exactly you tell him about what you've been up to since you left town again. I think we should mention the blobs and ask if he knows anything about them. Alright, yeah. I think maybe Cassie kind of catches him as you're walking out, and she's like, what? You got a minute? Let's talk before you go out there. Alright, yeah. He'll take you back to his office. He's been a little frantic today, obviously, but you're gonna tell him about the blobs, tell him about the green slimes in the forest, and that you think that there's... Did you actually encounter... No. If we ask anything about the big goop blobs, may not be the first time they're around. You can definitely ask. Let's... So yeah, you tell him... You kind of reiterate what you found when you went to the infirmary. That there were some wounds that seemed kind of consistent with, like, acid or a burn of some sort. You tell him that you had heard some rumors about various vegetables and stuff in the forest kind of being rotted, and that sparked your interest, so you went... You show him... I added to your inventory, you have a vial of dirt that you got from the mining camp, from where the body was found, and then you have the vial of mushroom goop, because you did pick up, like, a little bit of the rotted mushroom before you ran off, before they attacked you. Or appeared to you. I guess they didn't attack you, but... You want to show him the vial? Yeah, we took a sample of the mushroom. Yeah, I think that's the one I made you roll because I thought it was funny, because Dex has a -1 to finesse. Alright, yep, so you... I assume you give him context, as funny as it would be to, like, just pull out this vial of rotted mushroom. I assume you hand it to him. You can also hand him the dirt too, if you want. That was the one you picked up some like damp dirt from where the body was found, and there was this kind of like bitter, acrid smell to it. Is any of our vials whispering, "Feed me" yet? Not yet. Nope. It is very much it's rotted mushroom, but with like a gray, greenish discoloration to it. Yeah. So he'll take those and he'll kind of look at them like, what am I looking at here? Files and ask them if there's a better place to take these for diagnostic. Yeah, there's. You did. You didn't. But the doctor of the infirmary in the mining camp had his own vial. He actually had a pretty like concentrated version of it because he. It's like when you're trying to get bacteria to grow. BBBEG, big bad blob eating guys. Like the blobs are eating people, or somebody's eating the blobs. That would be interesting. Yeah, he took it from the body. He oh, what's the word? He like curated it, kind of like when people are trying to get bacteria to grow and they put it in the little petri dish with the solution to like feed it. He did that. He took some of that from like the edges of the wounds and it was turning into like a gray slop. So he did send that off to the cultivated. That's the word. He made a culture. That's I knew it began with the C. Yes, that has been sent to the capital because the local Scholars Guild took a look at it. It wasn't really in their realm of research. They're more like miasma and natural phenomenons. But they sent it to some of the biologists back in the capital, so it might be a few days before you hear anything about that. But you are welcome. That would be his suggestion as well. You know, Jimothy at the Scholars Guild might be interested in some of that. Have you talked to him yet? Which, again, the doctor last time would have told you he already talked to them. You're still free to go down there if you want, but... Let's see. I'm reminding myself of what you guys did last time. You did tell him also about the slop that the doctor had curated, cultivated. So Striker has already sent a couple guards down to the mining camp to catch the people who had been handling the body and quarantine them, as you requested last time. So this is kind of a continuation of that conversation. Talk to Jimothy now that we saw the blobs that left the acid. You could. They're definitely they're like magical researchers, right? Like the equivalent of scientists for magic. Yeah, Striker will you tell him about the blobs and he's gonna kind of roll his eyes like, great, I guess we gotta go patrol the part of the woods too. I assume you're gonna tell him where you saw it. He'll probably he'll probably also make a plan to talk to some of the local foragers and tell them to sort of keep close to town for now. Striker ever seen the blobs? No. Nope. Again, for those whose first time is playing, this is kind of a homebrew world. There is something called the miasma. It's like a magical radiation. It does not really exist in the area you're in. Occasionally you get like waspit that come through. It's kind of this rogue magic that can be very temperamental and harmful, but the Scholars Guild investigates a lot of that, and they didn't seem too worried about the Grey Slop being a result of it. I don't know. I think Striker would have heard of... He would have heard of, like, maybe some various creatures that sort of fit that profile, but nothing from this area. Oh, come here. There you go. Yep, you're free to go talk to the Scholars Guild if you want. There were some people who wanted to check back in with the infirmary, because I think there was some concern about the doctor down there having, like, a cultivated sample. I don't know why you guys are so paranoid, but... There are guards who have gone down to the mining camp, but they're more focused on doing, like, quarantining. And we probably might leave that to the guards short term. That's fine. Striker's gonna Probably increase the guards around the city too. They're definitely getting spread a little thin. A lot of forest and only a few guards. Let's talk to Jimothy first. Yeah. Alright, so we're going down in the Scholars Guild. Let's try to get multiple tabs open. Thank you. Alright. Maybe see if the Scholars Guild has suggestions or devices for catching the blob. So we catch one, bring it back for study. Yep, that can be done. Yep, you make it down to the Scholars Guild. You'll see that there are guards starting to walk out of town and probably tell the foragers to maybe chill for a few days while they figure out what is happening and why there are these creatures in the forest. You get down to the Scholars Guild and you'll see our friendly guard, Samantha. Yeah, Samantha. Oh, you beat me to it. You're better at remembering names than I am. About their weaknesses, apart from being dissolved in water as we saw ourselves. Never said it was dissolved. I just said it got like spaghetti-fied, like it got stretched out a little bit and floated off. I'm taking notes on this one. Oh no. But yes, Samantha, you will see she is a female elf. She's very, like, standing, very dutiful, very attentive outside of the Scholars Guild. I think you guys were a little weird last time you came and talked to her. But you're with Cassie, so how do we think? I think she's gonna see you and kind of like, you're gonna see the slightest bit of a sigh. But then she sees Cassie walking with you too, and she kind of stands at attention, because again, everybody apparently recognizes Cassie. Yeah. The bright pink furbulk. As you approach, she'll kind of nod respectfully, and Cassie will say, "How's it going, Samantha? Do you know if Jimothy's in today?" And you... Yeah. And before Samantha can even answer, you'll see this little dwarf rip open the door. "Is somebody call for me?" Jimothy's a bit of a goof. As you discovered last time, he's a little bit of a space cadet, but quite a smart guy from what you hear. Everyone likes her so much it is becoming a tad sus, to be honest. She's your friend. You guys made her this way. I didn't have anything to do with this. You guys and a couple nice dice rolls, so everybody recognized her. That is funny that you're already sus on people. Yes, Jimothy has opened the door and he's kind of looking expectantly at you. God, we have a friend people know can be helpful. Yeah, she's definitely well liked, very extroverted. She's a nice foil to Dex, I think. True. Yeah, I was thinking of this while I was rewatching some of the VODs. Like, I hand waved a lot of presence rolls because Cassie rolled really well. Because Cassie is so well known, she saved you a lot of having to like convince people that you were actually up to some good. So there are some benefits. Alright, you are at the Scholars Guild. Jimothy has opened the door. Samantha kind of sighs again because this idiot, like, she's supposed to protect this idiot, but he is very like, "Hello, you could be dangerous. That's fine." Talk about the sample he sent out from the doctor and then tell him about what we found. Excellent. Alright, yeah, so you kind of wave a hand as Jimothy has flung the door open without a care in the world. And you kind of nod, like, respectfully and go, hey, we, it's me again, because I think he talked to you last time. We were hoping to talk to you about some of the stuff down at the mining camp. Is it alright if we come in for a minute? Timothy will be like, yes, of course! And Samantha will kind of roll her eyes again. Luckily, she knows Cassie, so she's not too worried about letting you in now. You'll walk in and you'll see, let's see, what do I think this looks like? It's not a huge... Peakfall is one of the larger towns, and I'm picturing it as kind of like you're entering the mountains. It's probably the first big town you encounter as you're entering the mountains along this path. So they've probably got a decent-sized guild. Not huge, though. It's more like a staging point where they send off, like, smaller expeditions further into the mountains. But they do have a couple full-time staff, Jimothy being in charge of all of them. You'll see various, like, maps and files and what are some other fun things that might be in, like, a researcher's camp. I think in the main room you'd see, like, a big table and there's maybe a map or two kind of up on the wall and there's some drawings on it. You'll recognize it as probably the mountains of the region. I have 2,000-ish population town, so I assumed 5-10 full-time people there. Yep, that's about what I was thinking. That's large enough for it to be like a staging area for expeditions going further into the mountains. Gosh, you're taking really good notes. I'm gonna... I'm sure that won't come back to bite me. Anyways. Yeah, you'll see it's kind of got that, like, if you've ever seen those people who are, like, really smart but a little bit spacey in the brain. There's, like, stuff kind of all over in semi-organized fashion. He'll, you come in, you'll explain to him, like, we heard the doctor down at the mining camp gave you a vial of some, like, gray junk he found. Jimothy will be like, oh, yes. We took a look at that, but it's nothing that we're really used to dealing with, so we got some of the biology folks back in the capital to take a look at it. And then I assume you're gonna pull out... What do you want to show him? Because right now you've got the vial of dirt and the vial of mushroom goop, as well as your stories about what you just saw. I think we mainly want to tell him what we saw, what makes the goo. To be fair, you never saw them make the goo. You just know they were in the area that the rotten mushrooms were. What if we said that that vial you got has something to do with green oozes? Jimothy will kind of shrug. I mean, it makes as much sense as anything else. Is there something we can help you with about it? We don't really deal with biologic agents, but you know, we tend to do more magical research. I don't know. Maybe we can help you with something. Well, they seem really fond of mushrooms, and you're gonna pull up the mushroom gunk. And that'll get Jimothy's attention now that he has something to, like, latch onto. He's gonna take the vial from you, kind of, like, hold it up to the light, pop the cork off, and kind of take a sniff of it. Oh, yes, definitely seems to be pretty similar to that stuff the doctor brought in earlier. Ugh. Puts the cork back on. Where'd you find this? I assume you tell him. Are you... Let's put it this way. Are you holding anything back from him? Or else I'll just assume that you're gonna tell him where you found it. Just to kind of save time. Or if there's something you really want as a roleplay moment, go nuts. Exposition cantrip, yeah. They're exposition cantrip. Okay, excellent. Yep, so we'll tell him about the foragers and them finding the rotten mushrooms. How you went out there and you looked and you found the rotten mushrooms and these little slime creatures kind of popped out. And you tell him about the squirrel. For those who don't remember, there was a sort of malformed squirrel that became more malformed when one of the slimes kind of, like, splood. I don't want to say that. Kind of oozed over it. Def, tell him about the squirrel. Okay, yeah. The squirrel will also get his attention. Oh my. Yes, usually. I mean, we've seen that sort of thing with rogue magic, or certain chemical compounds can sometimes do that. You didn't happen to catch it, did you? Which you didn't. So you and Cassiel shake your head. Like, oh, that's a shame. The biology folks back in the capital would have had a heck of a time with that. As for what can cause it, I mean, there are some theories, each more, what's the word? Each more outrageous than the last, but I think at this point he's going to start poking around, because there's some books there. Should we see what he's got for books? Maybe anything related? He'll pull some books out about like the local ecosystem, but as he's paging through them, he's like, "Well, this is more about the regular wildlife in this area. I don't know if this is of any use to you, but you're welcome to page through it if you'd like." Have you seen any other animals like this? Again, you haven't really been in the woods, so I'm gonna say you haven't. um, we haven't so far, yeah. Well, you've mostly been in town or in populated areas, so you wouldn't see a lot of animals, period. Let's see, what else would he ask you about? Okay. Anytime you hear me rolling, it's because I'm trying to decide how likely it is that certain events have happened or that certain characters have heard certain things, and he just rolled a crit on that, so he's definitely heard. He'd be like, now that you mention it, there's some of the farms down at the base of the mountain have mentioned that their animals have been somewhat sick. Have you asked them about any of that? It'd be helpful to catch one of the slime blobs? Yeah, you ask them that. Would it help if we brought back like a live specimen? And he'd be like, "Oh, that would be delightful if you could, but obviously stay safe." So yes, he will tell you that he has heard about some issues on the farms down at the base of the mountain. Namely that some of the animals have been acting weird. And you're pretty good on that. And maybe some of the crops haven't been growing as well. Can we ask him if he knows of any place to get traps or containers for holding a question mark? For holding a slime? Oh, would they have it? Let's roll to see the likelihood that an expedition's coming through. Yes, sorry. It's okay, I knew what you meant. Yeah, you'll see that kind of light go off above his head again. Actually, we just got a big shipment. We're supposed to have a couple expeditions coming through here in the next few weeks, but I'm sure we could spare one. So they have a trap, if you really want. What are you picturing for a trap? Do you want... Actually, I should ask that first. What are you picturing the trap to be made out of? Do you think like a wooden trap, kind of like what are they, like lobster cages, or something that is fully enclosed? They would definitely have. So I'll probably roll to see if they've got the exact kind of trap. Probably something fully enclosed. Okay. Something fully enclosed. So I'm gonna roll to see if they've got anything that's fully enclosed, because I think what they would usually be used to is like a crate. Yeah, like a crate, but with gaps in it, which may or may not work very well for a slime, considering you saw them sink into the ground. A trail of mushrooms they like to eat. Close the crate when they get inside. Nice. 2. They're gonna have like a wooden one with some chicken wire and stuff on it. You're free to take it and maybe do something with it if you want it fully enclosed, but that is what they have to offer. Especially since we saw them disappear into the ground. Yeah, you get the... What's the term for something that's very, like... Not viscous, but... Are you gonna need this back? You ask him. And he's gonna kind of hand wave it. Says, "Oh, we like to help the local guards out from time to time. They've always been good for us." And kind of nod at Cassie. Take it and figure out something to wrap it with. Yeah, that would probably be your best bet. But what I mean is, yeah, like one of those ones where it's partially wood and then there's like a chicken wire kind of in between it. So there's gaps in it, but you could probably do something about that. It's going to be a little smaller, but I think we can seal it with tar. Honestly, I don't know enough about tar to know if that would work. Can you like melt tar and have it be something that you can like... Can you like coat it kind of like clay? Yeah, could wrap with old cloth and seal with pitch. I will take your word for it that that is something that can be done because I don't know enough about tar. We'll say that you yeah, if you want to go looking for something like that, you can definitely see. I'm sure the guard tower, or actually, I would say your best chance is probably the mining camp. Possibly even one of the farmers would have some for sealing, other things, or blacksmith. Yes, there is a blacksmith in town. You have met her. She's a very no-nonsense Dracona. Maybe soaking it with warm candle wax seems to be quite water repellent as well. Potentially quite common. Yeah, I mean, Peakfall is a decent-sized town if it's kind of that, like, they would have certain commodities, like people who make candles or sell candles. Yeah, but this isn't just water, it's acid. I'm sure you could also find somebody in town to enchant things as well. Might be a little bit less common, but since there's a Scholars Guild here, not impossible. How far away are the farms? They're at the base of the mountain. So the mining camps weren't quite at the base of the mountain. They were, how do I want to say it? It's like a third of the way up. The farms would be much closer to the bottom where it's a little flatter and there's less trees and rocks and all that fun stuff. It would be kind of, so like there's the forest where you were at. They're all the way down from there. And I think I've described this before, but also just as a reminder, there's kind of a big like main road coming into the mountain range, and that passes right next to Peakfall, and then it goes kind of weaves out on the, what do they call it, the valley floor, the floor of the mountain range, and that leads to like Selgren, a couple other towns. Maybe we could do an enchantment option. If that falls short, try and wrap and seal option. So you probably won't make it there before nightfall. It is getting to be, yeah, because you were out in the woods, you're back. It's probably about mid-afternoon. So it's not dark. I think I've been picturing it as summertime. It is up to you if you want to attempt to do that today. I mean, you could definitely, you could get down to the mining camp and back before it got like real dark out. Getting down to the farms would take a little bit more time, but because you'd probably have to go down past the mining camp and then sort of walk around for an easy path. I'm picturing, so Peakfall, you have the top of the mountain where it got blasted off, and then down one side, like all the rubble kind of created this nice gentle slope, and then it's a little steeper on the other side, and it's a little less steep on as it comes around to that slope, if that makes sense. So going down anywhere besides the slope is a little more difficult, but you and Cassie both grew up in the mountains, so it's not impossible. Thanks, Jimothy. I'm afraid the bobs might sink right through the chicken wire, but do you... Oh, gosh, sorry, it got cut off. But do you know of anyone that can enchant this, maybe, to seal it? Oh, also warn Samantha about the oozes. We don't really expect them to go into town, but still. Yeah, I think... Okay, yeah, it's good you told her, because they wouldn't have told her. Yeah, so are you leaving, or are you just... Is that something you want to do on the way out? I'll say that's something you do whenever you're ready to leave. Give her a quick heads up. So as a reminder, she is not part of the town guard. She is a part of the Scholars Guild from the capital. She has been sent here specifically to protect these people because the Scholars Guild and their work is not always popular. There's a lot of stigma around the type of magic, and honestly magic in general. To kind of like, so for them to be studying that, it sometimes makes people uncomfortable. Some people view it as like inviting a disaster, but yeah. She's definitely, like, her vested interest is in protecting Jimothy and the rest of the Scholars Guild. Is there anything else we want to talk to? Anybody else we want to talk to at the Scholars Guild? Jimothy know of anyone we could talk to about enchanting? I think there would be somebody within the Scholars Guild who is like capable of doing some base level magic at the very least, because they would have reasons to do that. As soon as he mentions it, he'll say, "Oh yeah, so and so, they're just in the next room. I'm sure sure if you talk to him, he might be able to do it. He might charge you a little bit for it, but so he'll lead you to the next room and be like, "Oh yes, Ubrit, are you in?" And you'll see this elf kind of look up. I've got this image in my mind of somebody with those like glasses. Have you ever seen like jewelers glasses? Jewelers glasses, where they've got the like little what do you call them? Like the little telescopes on them. I think you walk in and Ubrit's kind of like hunched over a table. He's definitely working on something. It's very small, very intricate. He's got like tweezers that he's kind of messing with. And he kind of jumps a little bit as Jimothy comes in. But he doesn't wreck what he's doing, so that's good. Nobody will be like, "Damn it, Jimothy, I told you can't just come running in here like that when I'm working." "Oh, don't be silly, Ubrit. These lovely folks here could use your help. They're trying to enchant some sort of trap." Ubrit will kind of grumble. Do we think he recognizes Cassie? Should we see? He does not. He really does not. In fact, I'm going to say that Ubrit is relatively new. OMG, yeah. He rolled a nat 1. What a shut-in. We'll say that he's new from the capital. So he's only been there maybe like a week. Ubrit will kind of grumble, like, "Can't get a moment's peace in this town, I swear." It's like these mountain folks have never seen magic before. And then he'll sigh and he'll kind of stand up and go, "Well, let's see what you've got. Bring it here." Yeah, I knew if he rolled low, I was going to say he's new, because who misses the giant pink furbolg? That's pretty sus. And sorry to bother you, but we need to seal up this trap to be able to catch a slime or this thing that kind of oozes through cracks. You think you can do that? Robert'll kind of look at the trap as you hand it to him. He'll pop it up onto the table and kind of look at it. He'll say, he'll sigh, and he'll go, "Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to make something waterproof. I assume that'll work for your purposes as well. Maybe. What kind of ooze, do you know? It's not on fire or anything?" "Well, we're thinking it's kind of an acidic sort of ooze. We'd rather be safe than sorry." And Ubrit is gonna kind of raise an eyebrow and go, "Well, I'll see if I can get some heftier enchantments on it. I think this should keep you safe, not get your skin eaten." And he's gonna tell you it'll take him. Do I want to roll for it? Let's see how busy he is. Yeah. I'll tell you, "Oh yeah, if you come back about tomorrow afternoon, I think I can have this done for you. I'll have to charge you the Scholars Guild rate. It's going to be about 2 handfuls. I assume it's for guard purposes." He'll kind of raise an eyebrow at Cassie. He doesn't recognize Cassie, but he would recognize that she is like armored up like a guard. Cassie will nod. So yeah, he can do that for you. It's going to cost you 2 handfuls of gold for reference. I believe you have 6. I didn't put it on your character sheet, but you had a couple of handfuls and then you sold your chainmail, so he raises a second eyebrow at the pink. He would have noticed that as soon as she came in. It's probably not as weird in the Daggerheart world. I mean, the guy's from the city. He's probably met other pink furbolgs. So if you want to leave the trap with him, he thinks probably by about this time tomorrow, like later afternoon, he'll have that ready for you. If you're okay with that, I will add the gold to your sheet at some point, but we'll say 2 handfuls of gold. Yeah, this sounds okay. You're gonna kind of fumble in your pocket and pull out the handful of gold, because that's a cool measurement. Kind of hand it over to him. What has I missed? We're getting a trap enchanted to hold a slime. Yep. Is there anything else you would like to do at the Scholars Guild? Making sure Def tell her about the acid pit and that one of those oozes might be responsible for a dead body. Alright. So you're gonna tell her that as you walk out? She doesn't seem too worried about the ooze, but when you mention it's responsible for a dead body, she kind of blinks a bit. Oh, I didn't realize it was that serious. Well, we'll definitely keep our heads on a swivel. So you warned her as well? She will definitely be watching for that. Do you just say a dead body, or do you say, like, the one at the mining camp? She probably would have heard about the mining camp, considering... What was the doctor's name? Rothred. Dr. Hazewater. I don't know if I told you guys his name, but that is his name. Rothred Hazewater. He would have had somebody sum that up and explain what it was for. The one at the mining camp. It'd be funny if you said not the one at the mining camp. That would be there would be implications. Alright. Cheryl finished up at Scholars Guild. You'll see the sun kind of starting to set. The sun set early in the mountains. You're up pretty high, so I imagine you could see it for a good while, but over some of the distant, taller mountains, you can see it slowly starting to sink. The shadows are getting long. Is there anywhere else you would like to go? Otherwise, you have a standing offer to stay at Cassie's house, or you can try and find an inn for the night. There definitely would be at least one here in town. Or if you want to go out exploring. What else are we needing to accomplish today? That's a good question. You don't have anything that is, like, time sensitive or, like, ready to pick up, if that's what you're asking. Cassie would... imagine her shift is coming to an end, so she actually probably would head back to the guard tower. You're free to go with her. She's gonna go check in before she clocks out, essentially, to see if they need any more help. The only thing we can still do is swing by the doctor. Yeah, it would be getting pretty late by the time you get down there and back, but you're free to do that if you would like. Swing by the guard tower. You'll find that Stryker has popped in again. Do you guys Cassie she wants to come with us, or are we meeting her back at her home? Cassie was going to the guard tower to check in because it's going to be the end of her shift, and she knows that they've got a lot of people out right now because Stryker so far has sent folks down in the mining camp. There will likely be some guards down there, especially overnight. And you warned them that there are also creatures in the woods, so they've got people kind of out on patrol. And they also probably would have sent somebody down to, like, the local farms to kind of warn them that there's to be on the watch and things like that. So I guess it's up to you. Do you want to go directly to the mining camp? Do you want to go with Cassie? Yeah, let's go with her, pick up a lantern. Okay, so you'll talk to Cassie, say, hey, do you mind if we go down to the mining camp quick before it gets too terribly dark? She'll nod. She'll be like, I need to check in with the guards. They're so short-staffed right now. I think it would be, I don't know, might end up pulling a double. So you get there, you'll see that Stryker is there again, also kind of rummaging through the supply closet or supply room, which you will go into to get a lantern. He'll look up as you come in, kind of give you a nod. He'll ask Cassie, you clocking out for the night? And she'll say, well, do you need me? I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of people who are going to be out. Is there anything I can do to help? And he'll kind of sigh and be like, well, if you've still got a couple hours left in you, I was about to go down to the mining camp and check in with Gil and Det. Make sure we've got guards up in the right spots. So Stryker will also be going down to the mining camp if you would like. So that was our plan as well, and go with. going. Oh, perfect. That's what Matt says too. Yeah, we were just thinking the same thing. We wanted to check in with the doctor down there quick before it got too late. Circle nod. Yeah, it's probably a good call. Well, may as well go down as a group. So if you're all good, you are free to go down to the mining camp. It is definitely starting to get dark, but you will see there's a fair amount of activity. You'll see lanterns from guards kind of walking around as you get there. Let's go. Yeah, okay. So now, let's see, where Gil. Alright. Gil and Det are also, he's gonna come with to the western mining camp. That is where the infirmary is. He is going down to meet with Gil and Det, who, if you weren't here last time, they're the two goblins who run the two mining camps at the base of the mountain. Not quite the base of the mountain, a little ways up from the base of the mountain. Gil runs the eastern camp and was the goblin who was very distraught the other day. Well, earlier this morning in game. That's her camp. Their camp? Yeah, Gil is non-binary. Their camp was the one where the body was found, and then the western camp is run by Det, who has been trying to comfort Gil all day while also dealing with, like, people not wanting to work and stuff because everybody's engaging with the rumor mill. Yeah, you go down the path. You're both gonna go off to the western camp. You're gonna reach the infirmary and you're gonna break off with Stryker as they continue on. You can see they're heading towards, like, one of the larger tents, which would be kind of like, what am I thinking of? Like a command post almost. Like the management post. Go in, you will see Rothredd Hazewater, the Semia doctor. And he is kind of scuttling around. He's got a couple patients in there. See that there's a fungal and a dwarf, probably. Who were kind of, the last time you were in the infirmary, it's set up kind of like the World War II hospitals, where there's like dividers between cots. So yeah, you'll see that there's at least two people in there, but the doctor seems to be winding down for the night, filling out the last of his notes. Did you just want to check in on him and make sure you didn't get globbed? Hey Doc, he sees you come in. You find anything out with that sludge? And he'll look up and be like, "Oh, welcome back so soon." And yeah, you got another minute for us? And he'll be like, he'll kind of look back and forth between his patients who are all kind of sleeping or falling asleep. And he'll be like, yes, let's go talk in my office. He'll guide you to his back room, close the door. Now, what can I do for you? Have you heard anything about, did the Scholars Guild get back already on the vial? Which, no, they did not. He just sent that off this morning. You'll see that the orc body is still in the, like, little morgue area he's got covered with a sheet. In there, Doc. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna tell him, well, we found something in the forest that we think might be related. We're not really sure what to make of it. Yeah, a fungal, a mushroom person, yeah. Yep, except they seem to be relatively sick and sleeping. The doctor would be like, oh, you think it's related to what happened to the body here? And he's gonna start fumbling around a little bit. I think he had the vial. Where do you have the vial? Show him the mushroom sample. Excellent. Yeah, so you pull the mushroom goop out of your pocket, your pack, wherever you've got it. You'd be like, does this kind of match up with the stuff you found earlier? He's gonna take it, And he's gonna go fumble around in some of his materials, and you'll see him pull out the other vial. And he'll kind of compare them, like, huh, hold him up to the light. Where'd you find this? Are you gonna exposition cantrip him? Is there anything you're holding back? Well, possibly. We got this, and we ran across some ooze blobs that seemed kind of acidic. And the doctor will nod and be like, well, that would kind of match with the injuries I've seen. Pop the cork off, he'll take a sniff. Ooh, yeah, smells like it, too. Do monkeys have real sensitive noses? I don't know. There's almost definitely some species who would be, like, more affected by that. Anyways. Is there anything you're withholding from the doctor? Or are you just gonna exposition cantrip about your adventure in the woods? Sure, tell him about the squirrel. You can't forget the squirrel. Okay. So exposition cantrip, you tell him all about that. He'll listen very intently, just quietly, as you tell your story, sort of looking like he's deeply in thought. Should we perhaps dilute the sample and test on our skin whether it is really as dangerous as we think? That is something, if there's interest, I will put it to a poll, because that seems like it could maybe have consequences. Anyways, yep, you finish your story, and he's very deep in thought. His brow kind of furrows. Squirrel with a sort of squirrel in that condition. That's a little odd. You said the slime did that to it? And the mushrooms, like it's eating away the mushrooms? He's gonna walk over to the body, he's gonna flip the tarp back, and he's gonna take another look. He's gonna be like, for what it's worth, it seems like the rot that was happening here has stopped. It's almost like it's not interested in it anymore. But yeah, I didn't see any of the changes. Nothing like what you've described. The rot, though, and I think he'll still be holding on to the vial you've got, and he'll kind of like hold it up to some of the wounds, like, see, I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough information, but I could see. He seems a little frustrated, like something is nagging him in the back of his brain. Like, I could see that, like, some sort of rot matching, but I don't know what it would be from. And he's kind of started doing that thing where you get somebody so engrossed in a problem they just block out the world around them. Is there any interest in putting the goop on your skin? Give yourself a nice, like, blob face mask. I'm sure it'll be fine. Change your goo, put the goo on a rat. No, okay, that's kind of what I figured. There's something else we could test the goop on. There are other people. There's potentially animals. Do we think Dex is the kind of person who would do that to an animal? After seeing the squirrel? For those who weren't here last time, the squirrel... You encountered a squirrel in the wood that had a head that was abnormally small, and then when the slime ran over it, it, like, grew another limb. It grew another leg. We didn't even attack the oozes, yeah. I don't know, I mean, also, in kind of a medieval sort of environment, maybe the view of animals isn't as thinking some plant life. Well, you do have the mushrooms. You have seen it eat away at mushrooms. Find a piece of leather that has been dead for a while, at least. I mean, that's probably pretty easy to find. Somebody would likely have leather. Maybe a piece of a bag. Heck, you probably have a piece of leather. If you're willing to do a really small piece, I could totally see it being, like, part of your pants, assuming you're wearing pants. part of your pants or like your pack or something. It's worth a shot. Did you do this last time? I think there was some discussion about it, but I don't think you actually did. Sure hope you're wearing pants. You've got the bare bones thing. I don't know, maybe Dex is running around in a Speedos type deal. I'm pretty sure we did not. Okay. I remember somebody asking, but yeah. Are you gonna do it right then and there? Or are you just gonna drop a piece into the vial? Which vial do you want to drop it into? Do you want to drop it in the doctor's vial? Do you want to drop it into one of the ones you've got? So again, you've got the one with the dirt, and then you've got the mushroom sludge. Kitty, you say hi? So not drop it in a vial, but scoop something out of a vial to put it in. Oh, definitely. I'm sure the doctor would have some sort of like little bit of stuff. If you hear the DM, the rot is slowing. Orc been dead too long. Need live specimen. Did I say that? Yes, the doctor would have told you that the rot seems to be slowing, if not entirely stopped. Do some science. Alright, yeah. I mean, that's pretty. Like, the doctor definitely has a petri dish or something around, so you can you're gonna take like a thin slice of leather off your bag or pants or something, throw it in there. You're gonna take a little bit of, I'm guessing, your vial. The doctor might not like you splashing around others. You'll tell him, like, well, we're curious. We're kind of curious if it's gonna eat through leather. So you dump a little bit on there. There's almost like a sizzle as it everywhere as it like drips onto the leather, and you'll see as it kind of like discolors the leather, but it doesn't actually eat through anything. But yes, it does not eat through the leather. It just kind of discolors it, makes it gunky and gross. That's what the doctor thinks about that. Did you tell him what you were thinking? I did say you did tell him what you were thinking. So, I mean, he watched, kind of interested, and he's like, huh, well, that's kind of anticlimactic, isn't it? Well, I mean, that tracks with it seeming to kind of stop on the body. It's almost like it's not interested in dead stuff. By chance, a dead rat or something that died recently? Oh man, would they have a rat trap? I don't think they would in the hospital. If you ran around the mining camp, like, there's a chance you might find something, but he keeps the infirmary pretty clean. I'm one of the patients and think better of it. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Dump it on somebody who's already kind of sick. That poor fun girl and that poor dwarf. If we don't want to test some live animals, is there a baker? Baker's yeast is alive. Yeah, but you want to make sure that the infirmary is free of rats. You might have a rat trap out in the infirmary. Yeah, but they probably wouldn't keep it. There probably is, like, if you were to go. I think we said there was a food tent, essentially, because these camps, they pack up and they, like, go to an area and they're relatively self-sufficient. They like to be near towns like Peakfall just in case, because it gives them extra resources and things like that, but they do tend to be self-sufficient, so they would have like food that gets shipped out, things like that. Yeah, there would be a chance of there being a rat in that area, but yeah, yes. To answer your question, HS, there would be a baker in town. That's a pretty common thing. Like for a commodity, having a baker. It is getting dark, so it would probably have to be a tomorrow activity. But anything else you want to ask the doctor while you're here? Why this frustrates him so much? Oh, the intellectual curiosity and the fact that this is causing such stir around camp. I just want people to be safe. We're planning on trapping an ooze blob tomorrow. If we shouldn't curse some acid damage. We shouldn't curse some acid damage? Is there a treatment you recommend? Should incur. Okay, that makes sense. Treatment you recommend? Yeah, I think he'd have some sort of. I think he'd tell you. Oh yeah, I mean some sort of. Imagine some sort of like poison or something neutralize the acid. poison antidote. If it's a poison, you'd want some sort of antidote. If it's acid, you're going to want something to neutralize it. Does he have any? No. But he will say, like, now you mentioned, I should really mix some of that up, shouldn't I? I think that's what he's going to spend the rest of the night doing, is mixing up something to neutralize the acid a little bit. But it might be a good idea. I'll just kind of nod. He definitely looks a little flustered after the length of the day. And back before we go to catch the ooze and pick some of that up. Yeah, you probably could. I'm going to spend a beer while you're while you're sitting there talking to the doctor. You're gonna hear the door slam open. Right now you're in the office and the door's closed to not disturb the patients, but you're gonna hear the door open and you're gonna hear somebody yell, "Hello? Hey, is anybody up? We need some help." It's coming from the area out in front of the patients, kind of where the entrance is. Let's go check it out. Okie dokie. Yep. The three of you in the room kind of look at each other. The doctor's gonna instantly be concerned and get up and go out. Sounds urgent. Yep. You're gonna go out. You're gonna see two of the guards. They come in. One of them is gonna have a female elf who's kind of slumped over. The guards kind of got her on their shoulder, bringing them in, and you'll see a second guard walk in with like a giant kind of. It's a little rougher to carry, but he's gonna have a giant who is also kind of like slumped over, not looking too good, and they're gonna like rush in. They're gonna be like putting people on the bed. Cassie is immediately gonna look at the guards. Big strength stat. Yep. Oh. There's nothing saying the guard isn't also a giant. Yep, so they're gonna bring these people in, they're gonna lay them on the bed. Cassie's immediately... she'll recognize the guards. She'll, like, what's going on here? Who are these people? What's wrong? And the guards are gonna be a little frantic. They're gonna be like, Stryker said to watch them, and they just kind of slumped over. I don't know what happened. They were doing fine most of the day. The doctor's gonna start instantly run over and kind of start examining. And you'll see... how mean do I want to be about this? Are these people that are hurt minors? Mask got it. They were the quarantined workers who... the doctor will realize he's gonna like go and he's gonna kind of like step back before he touches them. He'll be like, "Oh my god, these are the ones who brought the body in today." And he's gonna look at the two guards and be like, "Did you touch them?" Which they would have because they brought them in. The guards are instantly gonna look a little panicked, and the doctor's gonna be like, I need you to stay here. Is there a nurse around, do we think? They've gone home. Yeah, it's just the doctor. Yep. He's gonna ask... no, I think he's just gonna start trying to treat him, because... yeah, he's gonna get, like, whatever the old school equivalent to, like, latex gloves is. We do to help doctor? Doc, is there anything we could do to help? And he's... yeah, I think he would tell you... like, now he's really frantic. He's gonna be like, yeah, I need help. I need nurses. Go find Dad. Dad'll know where to find them. Might be some minor magic items. Yeah, there would definitely be something. I mean, I don't know how advanced germ theory would be in this, like, old school magical world, but he'd have something. He would be educated enough that he would know. And he's gonna start, like, examining, and you're gonna see as... well, do you think you'll see? Yeah. See how bad it is. The female elf. The female elf looks really rough. You can see that there's, like, active acid damage kind of, like, on her face and a lot of visible areas of her body. The giant doesn't look quite as bad, but he's definitely not in good shape. The elf, I'll say, is completely unresponsive. The giant will be kind of like grumbling as he'll have, you get the impression that he's awake, alive, but maybe not fully lucid. So yeah, there. And then he's gonna also the doctor's gonna order the guards to stay here and not touch anything. So yes, he has asked if one of you could go get Det and get, some of the nurses. There would definitely be nurses who come around. They probably wouldn't have done a shift change quite yet, but having them come around because he just had 4 patients walk in with this unknown issue. Gonna make a beeline for the management tent. Yep. So you're gonna go out, you're gonna go in the direction that Stryker was. Yeah. You'll see again that there are some guards and stuff walking around. There might be a guard or two outside who kind of heard the commotion and came walking. So Stryker is still there as well. Yep. Let's see. Are they still there? No. That is a definitive no. You get to the management tent and you kind of throw open the flap or whatever, and there's nobody inside. You can try and flag down one of the passing guards and ask. Because there are definitely guards walking around with lanterns and stuff, getting ready to basically patrol through the night. Cassie flags one of them down, calls them out by name. Where's Stryker? Have you seen Det and Stryker? And they'll kind of point you in the direction of the mine. Is there anything you would like to say to basically the guard who's kind of walking around? Tell the guard that there's an issue with the quarantine workers. Alright, yeah, you can tell them that as you leave. Tell them that a couple of the guards are now in the medical tent. Is that what you're going to say? The infirmary? Or you're going to tell Stryker? Okay. Yeah, they'll look a little taken aback, but go, oh yeah, I mean, you should probably go find him then. They'll kind of gesture down towards the main part of the mine, too. You can sort of see that's where, a lot of the equipment is. Nobody says otherwise. I assume we're going after Stryker and gang. Is it darkish yet? Yes, it is pretty much nighttime. Like I said, there are guards walking around with lanterns and all that fun stuff. Early evening, but definitely dark. We did have a lantern. Yes, you did grab a lantern. In fact, you would probably see lantern light from further down. Probably where Stryker and Det are. Beeline number 2. Okay. So you're gonna run down to the mouth of the mining camp. As you run up, you're gonna start hearing noises. You're gonna specifically hear frantic goblin yelling and Stryker's voice. Get back! Get back! Get out of here! You're gonna start hearing a loud commotion coming from where they are at the mine the mouth of the mine? Thinking it's like a cave kind of deal, but you're gonna hear shouting, you're gonna hear Det kind of echoing this, like, everybody back! Everybody back! Then you're gonna hear this loud groaning sound. There's a kind of grumbly noise. Is that very immersive for you? Sounded just like an upset stomach. Sounds like people need help. Yeah, it would sound that way. As you approach, you are going to see Stryker, blade drawn. Let's see. What do we think he would have? I think I gave him a longsword. We'll give him a longsword. Or a mace. He's got a mace. Her weapons out. Yep, I assume it's Cassie, as soon as she hears Stryker yelling in what seems to be an aggressive manner, she's got her sword out and she's rushing in. I assume you pull your shield and you also have a mace. This is like the closest we've gotten to combat, so look at it. Yeah, you have a mace and you have a round shield. So shield one hand, mace in the other. You run up. Striker is actively fighting this thing. It kind of like shimmers in the light as the lantern lights bounce off it. But you can see it is very close. It looks pretty similar to the slimes you encountered in the forest, except this is a big boy. It is easily like 6 to 7 feet tall. Depending on how it like compresses and squeezes and stuff, it can definitely go from like 7 to closer to 10 feet as it sort of towers over Striker. You'll see Det is... Yeah, you can hear Det. You probably can't see her, but she's running around like trying to get people in the residential, anybody who is like out working this late, like out of the way. What would you like to do, Dex, as you arrive on the scene? I'm going to spend 3 fear to activate the Slimes Abound feature. Spend 3 fear to have an unknown number of slimes pop up from the ground. It's a good thing we didn't already establish that was a thing that could happen, huh? Boom! I rolled a 1. So, as you're running towards the slime, you'll see, like, one of the smaller ones, probably closer to that 1 to 2 feet, kind of, like, form from the ground, kind of eke up as you're running up to it. This slime has sort of positioned itself between you and the larger one that is currently, like, engaged with Striker. Do you want to take a swing? Switch to a golfer stance and try to eat it. So you do have a mace. You also have your shield, which can technically do damage. So if you'll see, hopefully it's readable on the overlay, your mace does a d8. It's supposed to be the number of d8s equal to your proficiency, which is 1 because you are a level 1 character. You also have a round shield currently equipped, and if you whack it, it'll do a d4 physical damage. But if you want to flavor it as trying to like knock the slime away. I don't think that's part of the actual... I'll pull out some of yours. 2 attacks or 1? I believe it's 1 attack, but obviously, for those who haven't played Daggerheart, turn order is kind of weird in that there really isn't one. Usually it starts with the players, kind of. So in this case, it would be Dex, just you, because you're the only player. If you're gonna do an action, you roll your duality dice. If it's with hope and you succeed, then basically you get another turn. If you fail the action, or if you roll with fear, it comes back to me, and there are certain things the DM can do to activate enemies and fun things like that. So I would say it would have to be a separate attack, because, like, if you're a rogue and a dual wielder, I don't think that's something you can do. You are a guardian. That's your class. It's more of a, like, hefty, just hit 'em kind of class. So I'm gonna rule that you can only do 1. And then, obviously, if you roll with hope, you're free to do another. Does that make sense? It's a good question. I'm pretty sure I looked that up. I pictured it as, like, a shield bash, like if you're trying to push people back. That's what I would consider that. So I would also assume you're going for the extra benefit of actually knocking it away from you. It is currently in melee, we'll say. It'll pop out of the ground close enough that you almost run into it. For those who have never done combat in Daggerheart, they think of things in ranges. So you have melee, which is right up against each other, able to hit. You have very close, which is about 5 to 10 feet. You have close, which is up to 30 feet, I believe. And then there's far and very far. I know there's 2 more, but the one up from that would basically be anywhere else on the map, and then there's off the map. We actually have a yeet ability. You have multiple. So, you have, as a fun, you have the kick feature, When you succeed on an attack against a target within melee range, you can mark a stress to kick yourself off them. So you can basically, like, parkour off of them. It'll deal an extra 2d6 damage, and knocking back either yourself, so you can bounce off them, or you can push the target to very close range. Which would be that 5 to 10 feet. You also have, as an ability, Forceful Push. Make an attack with your primary weapon against a target within melee range. On a success, you deal damage and knock them back to close range, which would be a little further away. On a success with Hope, add a d6 to your damage roll. Additionally, you can spend a Hope to make them temporarily vulnerable, which I think means you just get advantage, so you'd get a d6 to add. Both of them would involve hitting them with your mace. Actually. Kick, I would allow with your shield, because it doesn't specify primary weapon. Forceful Push specifies that has to be your primary, which would be the mace. Your Forceful Push, it just says... No, wait. Kick says that you just have to make an attack within melee range. So I would allow that to be your shield, and then you could try and do the push if you want. Fight? Yeah, I mean, this thing is standing in front of you. Think we can flavor the Forceful Push as a golfer stance? Yeah, I mean, you have a mace, and you have a shield. Do you want to hit it with the mace or the shield? Like I said, for Forceful Push, it has to be your primary, so it would have to be the mace. But yeah, you can definitely try and, like, swing and smack it. See if you can catch it in the center of gravity. Let's switch to your dice cam. There we go. So on a success with Forceful Push, you will knock them back a little bit. On a success with Hope specifically, you can add an extra d6 to your damage. And then you can also choose to add a Hope, to burn a Hope, essentially, to make it vulnerable. But first, let's see if you hit. Oh, wait! Yeah, that's a crit. So I think you clear stress, which you were down a few stress. So I'll give you one of those back. You gain a Hope. And I think you do, like, max damage. Crit 2s, yeah. I was about to laugh because I was like, haha, you definitely failed, but nope, that is a crit. For those who've never played Daggerheart, if you roll the same number on both dice, it is just a crit, and you get a couple bonuses for that. Not bad for your first attack. Yeah, I'm gonna say that... How much damage is that? You do a D... Yeah, you're gonna obliterate that little guy. I think as you hit it, because it was a crit, you just, like... Yeah, you're gonna obliterate it. And that's literally what happens. You go, oh crap, this like slime pops up in front of you. I think you just, like, whack it. Do you want to golf swing it, or do you just want to, like, down it splooshes out? It is a very dead slime. That one is gone. God, I roll so poorly. I only rolled one. I was very unfortunate. I'll let you flavor that however you want. Alright. That counts. Yeah, it doesn't even matter because you freaking murdered it. I like golf swing, yeah, just whoosh, and you kind of see it, like, disintegrate, it splats against the ground, and kind of, like, just sits there, like if you've ever thrown jelly. Alright. So that does count as a success with Hope, so it is still your turn. Huh, not very sturdy, are they? Cassie will kind of laugh. I'm gonna activate a countdown die, because what we're gonna do, I'm gonna say every so many actions... And bear with me, we'll see how this works, especially since you are a party of one. Daggerheart is kind of wishy-washy about how you run NPCs in battle, because there's no proper turn order, there's no, like, initiative. The way I've tried it in the past is run it with a countdown timer, essentially, like a repeating countdown. So every so many actions, the NPCs do something, whether it's attack or whatever. With you guys... We'll see how this works. If it seems like it's really unbalanced, I might allow you to, like, burn a Hope to let an NPC do something, if that makes sense. But for now, we'll start with the repeating countdown. And that'll be for the NPCs in the area. Alright. It is your turn again. You have obliterated the slime. There's now some goop all over the place, but original plan, full length, the big ooze. Okay. Yeah, with that crit, I'll say you knocked the little one pretty clear. Alright, let's go down and get it. Your Daggerheart also kind of hand waves a lot of movement unless you're moving a long ways or if there's some sort of hazard. So I'll say you can get there. Get a yes from me. You're gonna take a whack at it. Are we super stressed or no stress? Well, you just cleared a stress. You are at 5 out of 6, so you are down 1 stress slot, if that makes sense. Otherwise, you're pretty good. I think you're at max hope. You're at max armor. Dex has kind of avoided Dex has avoided a lot of combats. For flavor, it seems smart. Yeah, definitely. So you're gonna go. Cassie is gonna start surveying. She will do an action here in a little bit, but we're gonna take a whack at it. Excellent. Let's take a whack at it. Alright, there's big boy. Alright, we're taking a whack. Jeff, quit spamming. That is a 7 with fear. That is gonna miss. And the turn will come back to me. So I think you're gonna take a swing and you're gonna see it. You're gonna take a swing and I think it does like a flubber thing where it sort of bends and you just barely like whiff it. Maybe you're too worried about getting goop, the slime on you. You kind of, yeah, you just miss. Let's say this sucker is like really mad at Striker for some reason. It's gonna, you're gonna see it like, as it like shoots bits of itself everywhere. So you and Striker, D20. It hits, and it hits a lot. So against you, it rolled a crit. So you are going to take 12 plus. Roll low. 12 plus 3. You're going to take 15 damage. So, how this works for those who are new to Daggerheart, let me pull up your overlay. Let me pull up the overlay again. Alright, I've got thresholds written here. Your minor threshold is 11. Your major threshold is 21. So basically, if it's below 11, you only take 1 HP. If it's above 11 but below 21, you take 2. 21, take 3. Guessing we did not have Unstoppable active. Nobody said it, so I'm going to say no. But here, did I write that down? Here we go. Gain a D4 Unstoppable die. Because this is the first combat, is that I will retroactively allow it. I'll allow you to burn a stress and say that you did that. There's a lot to keep track of. Stress will say you've got Unstoppable active starting at 1, increase, where's a D4? Gain a D4. So I've got your D4 here. Starting at 1, increase by 1 for each damage roll. That makes an opponent mark HP. So you would have been down 1. No. If you had activated it as soon as you came in, you would have had to mark it down once you obliterated that slime. So I'm going to say you're starting at 2, because you're going up to 4. So when you reach 4, essentially if you attack 2 more times and force something to mark HP, the effect ends. While the effect is active, gain the following benefits, reduce physical strength, current value, unstoppable die, which doesn't matter because you critted that slime. Armor and HP. What about armor and HP? Yeah. So for this one, I'll allow you to reduce it 1, which I believe still pushes you into minor. Let's go over some of your features here, because as a stalwart, you also have Frontline tank is what I was thinking of. Frontline tank is your hope feature for your class. Yes, I will say you have Unstoppable activated. It is now at 2 because you would have done damage to the little slime when you ridded it. The big slime, you missed. It attacked you, it did 15 damage, so Unstoppable would pop it down a slot, so I think you are still at... Yeah, you would still take Minor, which would be 1 HP. Do you have anything that you can do that? Iron Will. Yes, Iron Will. When you take physical damage... I don't think this would. This would be more of like an acid damage. Mark an additional armor slot to reduce the severity. So, your option as a... How this works is, depending on how much damage is done to you, it sorts you into one of those 3 severities, essentially, on your thresholds. Minor means you take 1 damage, major means you take 2 HP, severe means you mark 3. As you can see, you have 7 HP, you are at full health. You can mark an armor to reduce the slot, too. So right now, because of Unstoppable, it bumps you down into Minor. You can now mark an armor to just essentially not have to mark an HP. It'll take you down to nothing. Do you want to use an armor to do so? So you can here's how this is going to work. Because of a passive ability of this creature, because it is acid damage, you have to mark an armor slot, but you do not receive the benefit. However, you can still mark a second armor slot to reduce the severity. So I'm going to take 1 armor because that just gets eaten anyways from the acid. You can now choose to mark another armor and essentially reduce the HP damage to 0. Let's do a second, yeah. And, like, there's really no reason not to, usually. There are some features that activate specifically if you take HP damage, but this is... You don't really have any of those. I'm going to spend more fear. And I'm going to bring up some more slimes. Can't wait to roll the 1 again. Alright. As you miss and this creature kind of like screams and spews acid everywhere, you see the ground like kind of behind you, almost in a circle. You see 4 this time, little like mounds of dirt kind of push up and form into oozes. So you now have 4 of them at various points kind of around you. I think Cassie is probably gonna go deal with one of those, but there are now 4 of the smaller ones on the field. And that is all I can do, so it is back to you guys. What would you like to do? None of the little slimes are in melee with you. I think they would all be close, so kind of that 10 to 30 feet. You are right next to the big slime and can totally smack it. So ability to spend hope to restore armor. Yeah, is that... Spend hope to restore armor. Was that... I swear I just put frontline. It is your class hope ability, so you can spend 3 hope to restore 2 armor slots. If you've ever seen a Daggerheart character sheet, it'll be kind of down in the corner. Each class will have something you can essentially spend 3 hope for. For this, because, as it says, implies you are supposed to be a tankier class, you can spend 3 hope to clear 2 armor slots. So, what would you like to do? Ooh, sorry, I got the ounces. This big slime is like, oh, ambiguous, but Striker would have taken damage too. Do they hit Striker? Yeah, just barely. Striker maybe dodges it a little bit better than you do. Striker doesn't take crap for damage. You can see it kind of lands on him a little bit, but he's not looking too bad. So do we smack the little blobs so Striker doesn't have to worry about them? We're going to get swamped if we don't take care of that big one, but I guess Striker is hitting that one as well. Yes, Striker is full on face-to-face with this giant one. I'm gonna have you make... This might be relevant. We are going to make a instinct roll. That is a 2 and an 8 with fear. That's, yeah. You're gonna see that Striker's definitely holding its attention. He is yelling and holding his sword over it. Oh, look, you get kitty cam. You say hi, kitty? I will take that fear, though. See, look, I can spend fear. So yes, it does seem to be a little bit focused on Striker right now, probably because he's been here, like, fighting it. Or it was the first thing it saw when it appeared. Can we tell if Striker can handle it or needs our help? I mean, Striker is a head guard. He doesn't look scared, if that's what you're asking. He would definitely, you get the impression that he would be here out of a sense of responsibility no matter what. You yourself would know as a guard that if there's a situation where there's no chance you can win, it's probably best to run. But he doesn't seem to be doing that yet. So we're hitting close to small one. Okay, so I'm going to because I'm a jerk. I need an agility roll. So you will get to add +1 to this. One after one of the small ones. What is that? Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that is a 19 + 1 with hope. You will get a hope. You will have... Oh, you're already maxed. You will have no problem kind of picking your way, because the ground is now covered in a little bit of ooze. But you will have no problem picking your way over it to get to the slime. But we handle the small ones, I'm focused on the big one. Yep. Okay. So you're gonna go just whack one of the little slimes. Golf club swing it again. Get him, Robocop. I can't see that. That's pretty good. 19 with hope. Do attack rolls? Yeah, they must, because it's an action roll. That makes sense to me. If it's wrong, I'll change that next. Wait, can we spend 3 hope first? Clear the armor slot. Yeah, I don't think the order matters too much for that, so we will go hope. Armor slot. You will notice you have 6 because your shield is equipped. If at any point you drop the shield, you will lose 1 armor slot. Since we rolled with hope. Oh. Oh, okay. I'll allow it. I see. I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense. Damage, I do a d8. D8 + 1. That'll definitely hit. Just got dice cam. It's 6. 7 damage. I did say wait before the roll. Yeah, there's a little bit of lag with it. That's why I'm not being too picky. Yep, slime 1 is going to get its butt whooped again. It's not quite as epic as the last one you hit, but you'll definitely see that the slime kind of dissipates a little bit. Alright, yep, you got the slime. Little one just kind of smack it with your mace. Do we forceful push it? It's dead. I mean, for flavor, you can see you kind of swatted it again, but... For flavor, you can say you swatted it again, but there's really no reason to do that. Unless you're gonna push back a dead slime. Alright, and that was an attack with hope, so it is still on you, actually. You'll see there are still 3 slimes on the field. They're kind of like going in different directions. They're actually coming towards the large slime. Like, they're sort of oozing kind of like a caterpillar. Guess we continue? Yeah, do you want to go do some more cleanup on these little slimes, or do you want to go help Striker? Intercept and destroy. Alright, you're going after slime 2? Alright, I need another... Because they are relatively far away. I'm going to make you roll to see if you can get there without stepping on any gross slime in the dark. So it'll be an agility. Boom. Yeah, 15 with hope. Perfect. That'll be fine. And then we're gonna whack turn it back off. Boom. 16. Oh yeah, 16 because the 15 would have made it too, but here we go. Gonna attack this little guy. Let's get him. So yeah. That looks pretty good. A 17 will definitely hit. Should we see if you obliterate this slime too? Ooh. That is 4 total. I think you're gonna swing down with your mace, and at first you feel like you kind of whiffed it, but you kind of like pull through at the last minute, and it gets the last little bit. As this slime is now also down. These really aren't sturdy. No, they're not big. Alright. That'll be enough actions that you'll see Striker is gonna take a swing at this big boy slime. So we're doing an NPC turn essentially right now. He's gonna just barely miss. I think the slime does the same thing it did to you. The big slime, it kind of like dances around as he tries to hit it. He not doing a ton this round. I think Cassie's gonna run up to one of the other little slimes because there are now 2 of them. She's gonna take a swing. Oh yeah, she smashes it. What's the longsword damage? Do I even need to bother? Longsword 1d10. We'll roll just for fun because she. Yeah. She got it. So there's now 1 little slime on the field, and the big slime that has really not had any damage done to it. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, it is back to you. It's a very dexterous monster, apparently. I think we try to leave the small slime to Cassie. You sure can. Are you going back to the big one? So if you're going back to the big slime, I need another agility roll. Is gonna be a fail. So, here's the fun thing. I need a reaction roll from you. Strength. Not good. You got a 4 and a 1. As you kind of step foot into the acid, it kind of makes you go like, I think you kind of a disgusted feeling as you feel it kind of burn through your boot a little bit. But for now, all that you notice, you jump out of it again pretty quick. Alright. Did you want to take a swing on the big slime? That was the plan. Alright, let's do it. I think I left the dice game up. No, of course I didn't. Because why would I do that? Let's take a swing. Alright, so that is with fear, but it is an 18. That will definitely hit, so I will take that fear. Yeah, it was definitely enough, but it was with fear. So we will roll damage, because you go 1d8. Go, kitten. 4 plus 1, 5 damage. If you're actually going to connect with it this time, so it kind of screeches as you land a hit, but it does not show. Since it was the fear, it's gonna come back to me. Heck yeah. Alright, what's it gonna do? I'm gonna spend another 3 fear, because I can. I'm gonna roll some more slimes! But yeah. Oh, also your unstoppable dice is now up to 3, because you did make it mark HP. Ugh. Only 1. So you're back to 2 slimes on the field. And then I think this is just going to take a basic attack at Striker. Oh, it's gonna miss. Gonna miss by a lot. You'll see the blob kind of like scream as you hit it, and then it's gonna like kind of curve. I think you hit it right as it's trying to make an attack at Striker, and it goes kind of like misses. Alright, it is back to you guys. There's now two little slimes still in the field. Cassie is moving towards one of them. Also, as a reminder, your unstoppable die is now up to a 4. The next time you make a creature mark HP, it will be 4 out of 4, and you will no longer have that. The slime in melee. The big slime? The big slime is. If you want to hit the big slime again, you're not going to have to do an agility check. No, the small. No, the small is a little further away. If you want to move towards it, you need to pass an agility check, but hit the big one. Okay, excellent. Sure, nice and centered there. Go boom. Ooh, that's pretty good. It is with fear, but it's a 13 plus 2, 15. The big one, which does hit. This one, boom. Okay, well, not a lot of damage, but it is going to be 2. So you are going to do a little bit of a hit point, and that is going to, unfortunately, trigger your unstoppable die. It is now maxed out, so you no longer have unstoppable. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Sometimes dice rolls are just funny like that. I mean, you started with a crit, so I mean, it's gotta kind of revert to the middle at some point. Did I add a fear? Back to me, because fear time. It's fear time, baby! That's the dichotomy of dice. Okay, so we got 2 little slimes. I think one of them... I think the one slime, like, pops up behind Cassie, and it's gonna try and, like, ankle bite her, essentially. Probably gonna freaking miss. Ooh, it's not bad. But it is still gonna hit, unfortunately. Even if it is what I think it is in my head. So, what do we got for damage? It does 2 damage to Cassie. You see that she gets sprayed a little bit by the slime, but, I mean, she's still up and running. Stoppable is gone for future reference. Yeah, it actually would have pushed it in threshold. The attack roll, not the damage. Oh. Well, you've been making them anyways. Ugh. Look, there's a lot to remember. Add a current value to damage rolls. It goes to damage rolls. This is why I put the command in, so I could have it for easy reference. So it actually would have made a difference on that last one. It would have gotten you 1 more HP because it would have bumped up their threshold. Otherwise, I think you've been pretty, like, square. I'll give you the extra HP damage because I forgot. Alright, so Cassie took a little bit of damage. Yeah, I think it's gonna scream again. You're gonna see it. You're right, it's damage. I copy-pasted it into the command because I knew I would forget. So, I should really make a list of all the commands so people can pull it up in chat when they're curious, but... Alright, what is it doing? It's attacking you and Striker again. I need to spend a fear. Roll against Striker first, I think. Oh, it's gonna whiff. That's... Yep, completely whiffs against Striker. Against you, it also whiffs. Nope, not even close. Excellent. Well, good job, slime monster. You tried. It is now back to you. Both the monsters, both groups of monsters have done their thing. Alright, are we gonna whack it again? Oh, yeah, we are. We're whacking him. Okay. That's good enough for me. Dashcam. Hello, Dashcam. Part of this, too, is that I want to get better at running combats in a decent amount of time. I struggle with it. That is a 6 and an 8 with fear. Ooh, that might be... Well, plus your 2. Yeah, that'll hit. See, I can remember. Roll some damage. Damage. Are you going to add anything to it? That was a successful hit. What did we get? Ooh, 8. You max the damage. So that's 9 damage. We're beating an ooze. Okay, so... Because it was a successful attack, you can use your kick feature. So if you wanted to basically either kick yourself off the slime or kick the slime forward, you can do so and deal an extra 2d6 damage. You can also do forceful push. Since you were attacking with your primary, you deal damage. You knock them back to close range. On a success with hope, which it was not. You cannot have the d6. Kick the goo. You want to activate your kick feature. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything with forceful push. Off towards a small one. Yeah, I'll allow it. That's kind of cool. Alright, so you're going to mark a stress. and because you use a resource to do it. Stress. Kick yourself, you deal an extra 2d6 damage. Let's roll on the dice cam. We're up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 damage. And then you're going to kick yourself off towards another one of them. How do you think you do this against a slime? I'm picturing you, I'm picturing it as you, like, square up behind your shield, almost, and you, like, use that to kind of push yourself off. Oh. I mean, it says kick, but you could do something fun where you, like, parkour off with your shield. Like, you use that to keep yourself from sinking in and just do, like, a flip over it. Like a jump over the top of it. That'd be pretty cool. You use the force as, like, the thing kind of contracts up a little bit and you flip towards the other one. Seku, the harder you hit it, the more solid it is. Oobleck. Yeah, like the non-Newtonians. I know what you're talking about, but I think it's more, well, I was just thinking surface area, right? Because if you just kick it, you're gonna get stuck. But if you use your shield, that's a wide enough surface area, but yeah, I think you can do that. Alright. Yep, this monster, you're seeing little bits of, like, goop kind of fall off it, but it is still very much standing. This one is sturdy. You think you and Cassie are, joking with each other? She's kind of playing whack-a-mole. Alright, that was with fear, I believe, so it comes back to me. Just for giggles. We're gonna summon more times. 3 of them. So there are, what, 5 on the field now? Let's see. Yep, so there are a couple more slimes. There are now 5 little ones on the field. And you're gonna see this creature kind of, like, fly up. Maybe, like, as you were parkouring over it, it kind of swelled up, and you're gonna see it attempt to slam down on top of Striker. Striker's doing okay. It didn't roll well on damage, but it did hit him for 2. Yeah. So you kind of hear Striker exclaim as this thing sort of slams and kind of, like, engulfs him. It definitely looks like it knocked the wind out of him as much as you can knock the wind out of a clank, but he is still standing. Alright, it is back to you guys. Use a rope to tie a loop around the big boy, and pull on the opposite ends with Cass and try to split it in half. I mean, that's creative, but we did just establish that it, like, plopped down on a solid object with no issue. Alright, yep. Striker is now engulfed in the big slime. Cassie is still playing whack-a-mole. It is back to you guys. Try and hold down the slime. Dex breaks the 4th wall. What's that? Jeff appears like Mufasa in the sky. Comedy retract. You know, I had the feeling that was going to be a comedy retract. Just something told me. So you launch yourself off towards one of the smaller slimes. There are now 5 of those on the field. Cassie looks like she's preparing to smash one. Striker is probably not going anywhere for the time being. What would you like to do, Dex? You definitely would have heard Striker get engulfed. With the slime, Striker's in there. I mean, the thing is large enough that you could still swing without necessarily hitting Striker. It also doesn't help that, like, it kind of plopped down on him, so he's sort of hunched. Try to hit the closest small... Yeah, you can hit the closest small slime, or you can try and run back and hit the slime that you just launched ourselves over. Ooh, you want to try to kick again? That would actually be pretty cool. I love that feature. That's so... I love stupid, like, Daggerheart D&D moves. To get back. Green Leap, you can leap anywhere within close range, as though you're using normal movement, allowing you to vault obstacles, jump across gaps, 4 skill barriers with ease. So now I'd probably still make you roll an agility check to see if you can miss a slime puddle, but I would... Maybe I'd give it advantage. Yeah, I think I'd allow advantage because you can kind of see where you're landing down. Plus, it's cool. So, what would you like to do? I vote the second. What's the second? Hit the small one, or do you even want to hit the little one? Cool. We'll do that. I will give you a check with advantage just because it's cool, and why not? So how advantage works for this is you roll your duality dice, and you also roll a d6 on top of it. So we roll boom, and we get... Ooh, that was pretty good. So it's a 13 total. Yeah, that's pretty good. What do you mean 15? How did I miscount that? Oh, 12, 13. Okay. You got me. Yeah, that'll be fine. You're all good. I'm gonna take a strike now. Or attempt to hit him. Boom. What do we get? Hit. It definitely hits. Roll some damage. I don't hear what you say, I just always add things up. Yeah, I mean, you're keeping me honest. What do we get? Got 5 plus 1. Yeah, it's starting to look like it's not doing too great. You can see this monster, like, struggling to keep itself together. It has not released Striker, though. However, that was with hope. It is also now... No fear. Okay. If you insist. We're gonna let the NPCs take a turn here, though, because that was enough actions, essentially. Cassie is gonna smash a slime. We'll see if she hits. And give dice. That's a crit, so yeah, she obliterates one of the slimes. In fact, I might let her... I think, like, 2 of them are moving towards Striker, and she just goes and, like, swings through them. 9. Oh, that's not gonna hit. She did crit the one and took a swing, but the other one just barely missed. Yeah, as you kind of look over at Cassie and you see her trying to deal with these small slimes, I'm going to have an instinct roll from you. We'll say it's an instinct reaction, so we don't have to deal with hope and fear, but... That is a crit! So... I'll allow that. We'll say it's an action roll. I'll give you the stress. Boom. I don't think you're supposed to with reaction rolls, but yeah. So as you look over at all these little small slimes, you can tell that they are actually moving away from Cassie and everything else in the camp. They're not even really that interested in you. They are definitively moving towards Striker. Striker is a clank. I believe we said earlier on he is specifically race, species, heritage. I knew what you meant. It's technically heritage or ancestry. Heritage is like everything combined, but yes, he is specifically a metal clank. Striker's turn. Alright, now Striker is not in a good spot. I think he's gonna try and swing still. So I'm gonna give him disadvantage on this roll. We'll let him roll this. Boom, roll this, and then a disadvantage. Yeah, sorry, buddy, that's not gonna be enough. You can see him kind of swinging around, trying to attempting to do some amount of damage to this thing, but he is not gonna succeed. Alright, Cassie got one of the little oozes. There are 4 on the field. Alright, I'm gonna spend fear for this. Boom! You're gonna see 2 of the little slimes kind of... Cassie killed one. Oh, 4. Okay, we ignored them last time. Yep. Striker. I think I said with an I, like literally strike. Anyways, Striker has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Spent to Fear. You're gonna see two of the slimes as they start like barreling towards Striker. They're actually gonna like combine and mesh together. They're grow a little bit larger, not nearly as big as the one that is engulfing Striker, but they're gonna have a little more size, and you get the feeling it can probably pack a little bit more of a hit. And the big one is just gonna focus on trying to eat Striker. It looks like it's trying to like scrunch up and down, like it's trying to digest. I'm going to roll. We did our shitty, yeah. Striker's gonna take a little bit of damage. He's not having a good time. He doesn't look like he's dying or nothing yet, but he's definitely not having a good time. Alright, so we have one medium slime on the field, two small slimes, and the big guy who's eating your friend's boss. It is back to you. Reset my timer here. I believe you are right next to the big ooze because you came back to swing at him. Try and free Striker. Yeah. Okay, let's take a swing at him. Well, not a Striker, I'm assuming. I mean, if you want to, you can take a swing at Striker, but that's kind of a jerk move. Cassie might not be very happy with you. Successful forceful push. If you make a successful hit with forceful push, and then you spend a hope to make it vulnerable, I will say that it releases him. Sound fair? Let's see if you hit first. We're taking the swing. That is an 11 with 13 with fear. That is gonna miss. It was with fear. Very unfortunate. I will allow that offer to stand for next time things come around, but now that was unfortunately a miss. Yeah. Alright, two little slimes, big slime. I think it's just gonna bite down on Striker again. Yep, that was pretty good. D6. He's holding strong though. Striker's doing his best. Back to when it's eating Striker. What is BMSS? Yeah, it is doing some pretty not good damage to Striker. There's two of the little slimes still that are moving towards. In fact, I'm gonna actually spend another fear. I'm gonna say that the other two of those little slimes combine into another medium-ish one. So now it's medium, medium, big. And that is all they can do, so it's back to you. Yeah, I think last round you gotta, like, you saw it actively trying to, like, scrunch Striker and you panicked a little bit and missed. Help Striker. Yep, we're swinging again. I will say the same thing if you spend a hope after you successfully hit to do your forceful push. I'll allow you to, well, actually, I'll allow you to push Striker out. That makes sense. No. 8. You guys, it's not gonna be enough. You did get a hope on that one. I think you're a little more confident as you swing again. I think that it's like a creature that's got a yummy snack. Have you ever... Okay, my little dog does this. If I give him a treat and, like, go anywhere near him, he goes... It's kind of like, that's what it's doing. It's trying to, like, scrunch away from you every time you get close. Alright, so that was fail. I think I'm going to say... Oh, we haven't done anything with Cassie. I think she's chasing down one of the medium slimes. And she takes a swing at it. And it's going to be annoyed at her, so they're going to turn around. One of them's going to try and attack Cassie. Nope, it's just going to miss. Yeah, it kind of half-heartedly swipes at Cassie and misses. Back to you guys. Are we swinging again? Are we trying to get Striker out? Roll better. I've actually been rolling pretty good. I rolled like 3 crits. Ooh, strength 18. With hope. That will hit. And it's with hope. So, you wanted to do your forceful push. Alright, so that successfully hits. So, let's roll some damage. So first off, you're going to start with 5 damage, 4 plus 1. On a success, you can knock them back. On a success with hope, add a d6. D6 to your damage roll. So d6. Where'd I put your d6? Boom. Another 3. And then I think I said if you spend the hope to make them vulnerable, I will allow you to essentially push Striker out. Kind of catch it on its back leg, so you'll have advantage next time you swing at it. Yeah, you kind of shove through. I think you do something really cool, like you freaking dive through it, like with your shield, you just dive and you manage to like knock Striker out of it. He's gonna kind of gasp for air a little bit, but let's see how much damage you did to this thing. That's a pretty good hit. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 8 damage. Oh, perfect. Okay, So I really like this idea of you diving through it. That is actually going to be enough to kill it. Do you want to say you dove through it and it like rips it apart? You get like you tackle Striker and get him to safety. You can add any extra flavor you want. I think that's pretty cool. It's very thematically appropriate. And then you'll see Cassie. We'll let her take one more swing, but you're gonna see that the other 2 slimes immediately go kind of like start slouching away and sort of sinking into the ground. It just falls apart behind us. Yeah. Oh, Cassie gets one of them. Yeah, so we'll say that Cassie like goes yeah, and just like explodes one with her longsword. We'll say the other one kind of like squeaks into the ground. Go Cassie. Yeah. I mean, go you. That was like thematically perfect. Yeah, Striker's gonna be like gasping. You can see like parts of his body are maybe eroded away a little bit, but he's very much alive. He is looking a little rough, but he's doing okay. As the slimes screw off, I think that's gonna be a good place to stop it. Good job, Dex.